Hello, welcome to 20 at 10 with Nat. I am your host, Natalie. My special guest tonight is friend, guitarist, and songwriter Jenny Reynolds. I met Jenny officially, gosh, 2018 maybe? Maybe 20. Actually, I should bring Jenny in for this. Not so far, what am I saying? Wow, yeah, I need to bring you in for this. Please welcome Jenny Reynolds.
Hi.
Hi, I met you at an Aveda salon school, but
Yeah.
at a music show. And I think Ray Prim was playing. Is that right?
Yeah, that was funny. That was the micro minute or
Micro Sessions.
the
That's
micro
it.
sessions.
For some
Yeah.
reason, I had a different. Yes. Micro Sessions. Such a cool concept. It's not currently existing in our pandemic age, but maybe it will be rebirthed when inside live music is more normal and accepted in
Yeah.
Austin.
That was when I went back to play that at one point, and I was in one of the rooms that had mirrors on three of the walls, so it was
Yes.
kind of
Was that
trippy
weird?
to play. Totally. Yeah.
Um, I did not have that room, fortunately. I had a different room. The one
Yeah.
that had like the sliding wooden doors that separated it from the massage room. And I was just like, can we get massages too?
Yeah, that'd be a
Uh,
nice vibe. Yeah.
yeah, it was super chill.
Yay.
Oh, yeah, such a good time. So, you and I met right before Ray Prim was playing because I recognized you and I was like, I think that's Jenny Reynolds,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, as they
It
say.
was Tom Meany there, or was he playing that night too?
I think he was playing that night.
Yeah, because I think that he is a mutual friend,
Yes.
and he was a mutual friend that night too. So
Yes.
he probably said, "Hey, you guys should know each other" or something. I could see him doing that.
Weren't you, how did I knew of you before though. Were you in Soul
Yeah.
Riders?
No.
How did I know you? I definitely knew of you and knew your name and I knew what you looked like because I recognized you.
Oh, well, have
But
you
I
been to
don't think I
prison?
had ever seen you perform, so I must have known you through mutual friends, probably on Facebook. I
Sure.
think I saw people performing with you.
Cool.
Anyways, so like this is how it happens in Austin, folks. Like
Yeah.
you play enough around town and people start to like hear your name or like they see like, oh, you're playing with so and so and you're playing with so and so, and like eventually you hear about another artist enough and then you finally meet them and you're like, I've been hearing about you.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And it's a thing I like about Austin anyways. And I'm sure it happens in other cities too, but it definitely happens a lot in Austin. And I even think I know the other artists because I've heard of them so much and we've played with so many mutual friends.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love it. How long have you been in Austin?
Since 2003.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
when someone asks if you're an Austinite, do you claim it?
Uh, well, I don't know. I don't know where my snow boots are. I don't think I have them anymore. But I do have like three pairs of flip flops, and one of them is like a formal pair. So I don't know if that qualifies as uh, if that
Being
qualifies
an
as
Austinite?
Austin. I don't know, but
Did
that's
you
that's what I think.
have an appropriate coat back in February during Snowmageddon?
Yeah, yeah, I know
So
how
you
to
were
snow.
fine.
Well, fine. I didn't have power or water for a week, but other than that, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember how it snowed? We had like a little storm before then.
Yeah,
It was,
I wrote a song
yeah.
about it because I was like, the line was the heart of Texas is covered in snow, and I thought that was like weird and appropriate because that rarely happens, you know. And
Right.
I was like, the one snow day we get, and that was in January, and then
Because,
February came.
yeah, I made a snow angel and posted it on Facebook, and I thought that was hip
That
and
was cute.
cool. And then,
Yeah.
a month later, we had like tons more snow and
I
like,
didn't even go
you know,
outside. Like I wanted to go play in it because it was like this is happening in my yard.
mm-hmm.
And my other roommate who like grew up in the Midwest was like, "Don't do it cuz you'll get sweaty and then you'll come inside and then like the whole sweat thing will happen, you won't be able to actually warm up." Like all this stuff and I was like, "I'm going to go cry in my room."
Oh,
Instead, like I don't know, like what else do you do? I don't know. That
I
was
don't
so
know.
weird.
Yeah. That
In my
was a weird
head,
time.
in my head it was 2 weeks, but it only was that kind of snow was only on the ground for 5 days, but it was insane for a week. But it feels like 2 weeks in my brain. In my body.
It actually, in terms of like the experience of it, it felt like at least 10 days because the snow was long gone before I had power or water. So,
Like that weekend, and it got like back up into like the 70s or something.
yeah.
It was beautiful.
I waited
And we
a
didn't
whole
have power.
day. Yeah, I waited a day before I turned my water on because I was like, I got nervous that it was gonna like come back and burst a pipe or something.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I turned it off at the city line, and then I waited a day, and then I slowly turned it on and said like all kinds of little prayers. Yeah.
And your house was fine.
Yes, it was.
Good.
I mean, my dog thinks I invent the weather, so she spent that entire week like thoroughly pissed at me. So, she's like, hey, I had enough of this. I mean, she did get to sleep on the bed with me. That was cool, and it was
There
not
you go.
cool when storm was over. She's like, hey, now that we've done this before, let's keep doing it. And she's like, she generally got out of the whole thing pissed. So
Nice. Well,
yeah.
she's alive.
She's alive. She might make an appearance, but generally during live streams now, she just runs for her crate because I think she doesn't understand what's going on. Yeah.
Also, Joanna's here. I was in the wrong thread. I didn't see everyone who's tuned in. Kent and Brian are here too.
Yay.
Hey y'all. Howdy. Howdy from the land of Austin.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, I know you. I mean, have we actually played a show in person together? I don't think
We did.
have.
I think we did like Nicole Wagner's birthday party thing at a cigar place in Buda.
Yes.
Yeah, because that was sort of fun, but it was like
It was
kind of
smoky.
hot. Yeah, and
It was hot.
yeah, and
But it
being
was
a
fun.
cigar
It
place.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a totally unique crowd, and there was a
Yeah.
food truck, and yeah. Ooh,
And I think
Kent's
we
in
have-
Washington.
Ooh, how's the
Hey,
weather?
Kent.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you came to Austin in 2003, but what did you come for?
Well, it's an interesting question. I kind of came for my love life, but I also came. I had been working for a record label. I ran the mail order marketing for CDs back when people actually bought CDs.
Nice.
So I used to work for Tone Cool Records, and our biggest acts were Susan Tedeschi and the North Mississippi All Stars, and we also had Rick Holmstrom, who's Mavis Staples' guitar player. So I used to do,
cool.
yeah, I was like internet marketing and mail order stuff was my dealio.
Okay.
And after September the 11th, our distributor, who was Sony, just decided that they weren't going to pay us for records. It was kind of a takeover. So we all lost our jobs. And I thought, well, I came down to Texas I met a whole bunch of Texas people when Folk Alliance was in Vancouver in 2001.
Okay.
And so I started playing down here with like Paul Barker's house concert, the Rouse House concerts, Kerrville, and I started coming to Swerfo when it was still in Kerrville. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just move down here for a year or two. And there was a recession up north that never really happened down here. So the cost of living was right, and it just kind of felt...
Ironic.
Every growing pain that Boston was going through when I left is now happening here. So there's nowhere to go.
Where is the new Boston/Austin/Music City for you, you think?
I'm a little curious about Asheville.
Okay.
Because I think there's a burgeoning scene there, and it's really pretty there. There's a lot of creative people there. I'm curious to see what's going to happen there.
I'd be down if a few core folks from Austin wanted to take a little trip up to Asheville, check out the scene.
I have played in Asheville and Hendersonville. I have friends that live in Hendersonville, and it's I think you would do very well. I think they would love you there. So it's a very NPR friendly place.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an NPR friendly person.
I remember you being an NPR celebrated person, if I recall.
Kind of. Like one tiny time right before lockdown.
But tiny is such a relative word. I mean, like,
It's true. It was
it was,
my largest piece of media coverage.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
was a little blip, you know? A little blip on a little timeline of my life.
It's a really cool blip, though. That's
It
a
was a
very
cool
cool
blip. It
blip.
was super
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Well, okay, so you came down to Austin
yeah.
for the label.
Yep.
Was the label in Austin?
No, the label was 2 blocks from my house in suburban Boston.
Oh,
But when we went out of business, it literally disintegrated. It went out of business, and I moved down here. With like, I was literally collecting unemployment when I moved down here, and
I swapped that in my brain
yeah, no
when you
worries.
said that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
what kept you here? Was it your love?
Well, there was that. I know we could have gone anywhere, but it was pretty much the economy of it. You know, that people were spending more money on music down here, and I think that is still true. People go to see music here the way they play golf up there. You know, there's
Okay.
more of a passion and a hobby to go see music.
I like that.
And I do too. But you remember meeting people like Darren Appelt and Paul Barker that would be like, there are 3-4 bands on an index card that they're going to go see tonight. And, you know, I would play Momos and finish a set, and somebody would come up to me and say, hey, it was really cool. I got to scoot out of here. I'm going to see so-and-so at such
Yeah.
and such. And so there was like an agenda that they'd come up with, you know, days in advance for that particular night.
I feel like
Um,
Joanna is good at that, and I think Kent is too. I don't know
Yep.
about Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian was at Americana Fest volunteering, I think. He is
Yay.
recuperating now.
Ah.
Americana fatigue hangover. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, what would you say? Do you remember how old you were when you wrote your first song?
Yeah, 15.
Okay. Do you remember what
Yeah.
inspired it?
Okay. Let's see, inspired it. I wrote when I was a teenager, so it was kind of like self-centered and angsty.
That's totally fine.
It was just a total teenager moment, but I think it was just, you know, basic teenage, overly hormoned, self-centered angst. And it was called Through My Eyes, and all my little teenage friends thought it was the coolest thing ever. And that was very good for my social life because I didn't have one until they knew I could play songs and write songs and stuff. So
Interesting.
I was pretty much I didn't exist until that we had some kind of school concert, and I played this song that I actually wrote in camp the summer before going to school.
All right.
So yeah, and then I mean, a lot of people that I interact with on Facebook are from school, so they're very supportive still.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I was way too shy to share any of my songs with my peers in high school, junior high and high school. Do you still know how to play it, or do you have any recordings of it?
Yeah.
You do?
No.
Oh.
That was more of an let's see. No. I mean, I might. I don't know. Probably not. Is the answer to both questions. I don't. If I have a recording of it, it's on a cassette.
Nice.
Somewhere.
I had
Somewhere.
microcassettes for a while that I was recording on.
I had mini discs too. I used to do the mini disc player thing, which the last time I did it was probably at Momo's, but in fact at Momo's I put it on a table in front of the stage, and I was going to record a set, and I actually got a couple breaking up at the next table. Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. But it was also really good fodder for a song because it was
Oh my gosh, that's like some drama.
It
What
was
did they
way more.
say?
No, that's the thing. It was like the way they were saying it was totally earnest, and it was, you know, very real the way they were talking to each other, but the lines were so like, we just want different things. No, we don't. We want the same things. I want what you want. Why can't you want what I want? So it was like, you know, I don't know.
Wow.
Cheesy but accurate at the same time, you know?
Cheesy but accurate.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. So, one thing I ask all my guests is, do you remember, probably a time when you were a kid, the first time you heard a piece of music, could be radio or records or seeing a performance, and just being like taken by it, like, whoa, blown away. What is this? I love this. Like anything like
Yeah, I
that.
love that question. So I'm the youngest of I have an older sister and an older brother, and so my mom used to play records, and everybody else would be either at school or work, and so I would play underneath the dining room table, and there was a big tablecloth that came down. So if you were under the table, you kind of had your own little tent because the tablecloth was kind of long. And so mom used to play records in the turntable was in the dining room. So I would just hang out there and, listen to music with her and just stay under the dining room table the whole time. And so she would play the Beatles, and she would play, let's see, we also listened to the Kingston Trio and the Beatles, and we listened to Peter, Paul and Mary and Carole King. And eventually we listened to old, like later Beatles and Paul McCartney and Neil Young, and Joni Mitchell. And then my brother started bringing home stuff like Fleetwood Mac. The first few songs that I listened to that just kind of made me feel like music was this thing were actually songs that my mom sang. I'm going to plug my computer in right now. But like my mom would sing in the car when we were just driving around somewhere, or she would hum in the grocery store, and that was even more of a thing that was like, hey, anybody can do that. It's not just special, wealthy or somehow regal people that are famous. Anybody can sing. It's like, I remember she was like, yeah, singing is just when you make your voice do this, and that was amazing. And then I started singing underneath the dining room table, and I don't know what the first song was, but I don't know.
Is there one you remember loving as a kid?
Lemon Tree, the one that was Peter, Paul and Mary. There's a John Hartford song called In Tall Buildings, which was like, I don't know how old it is. I think it's pretty old. It's one of the first songs I learned as a kiddo. Do you know that song? Gillian Welch has a nice cover of it.
I don't.
It's like a little 3-chord tune. I think it's like, and it's on a
What's it called again? Tall Building?
In Tall Buildings. It's like someday my baby when I am a man, others have taught me the best that we can. Sell me a suit, cut off my hair, send me out in tall buildings. So goodbye to the sunshine and goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers and goodbye to me. Off to the subway, I mustn't be late. So if you go, I think there's a tribute record to John Hartford, and Gillian Welch plays that one on that record, and I believe she introduces it as the saddest song that he ever wrote. And there were a whole bunch of people that like quit their jobs because of that song. And it is not really a song for people that are devoted to the 9 to 5. It is, it's pretty much the anti 9 to 5 tune. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and the second verse is even more kind of like anti-job.
How old were you when you learned this song?
Oh God, I can't really remember. I think it was
Like,
in
that's
the
a
kid
really
phase.
mature song to be learning as a kid.
I learned I started playing guitar way too early. So
Way too
this
early.
is really goofy, but like, and I was like 4. My birthday, I came down for breakfast, and my dad's like, "What do you want for breakfast? It's your birthday." So I got to pick, right? Do you ever, when it was your birthday, did you get to pick your
Occasionally, yes.
Cheerios and blueberries? And
Okay.
finish in the bowl. What do you want to do today? And I'm like, I want to buy a guitar. and that every other kid was like, I want a bicycle, and I was like, I want a guitar, and I just kind of didn't stop saying it. So they're like, finally, we're going to go to Sears Roebuck, and back when people actually called it Sears Roebuck, and we bought a guitar for like $10,
Awesome.
and you could hang it from a rear view mirror. But the first thing my teacher did was take
Because it was so small?
tiny, and sort of pathetic
It's a
looking.
ukulele?
It probably could have passed as one, yeah, but it had 6 strings, and my teacher took the 5th and 6th one off, and so any song I learned, we would play together, and if I would only play like, C was a 1-finger chord, and D was the hard one because it had 3, you had to use 3 fingers, and G was a 1-finger chord, A minor was just 2 fingers, so, when we would play something like the really hard song ages ago was St. James Infirmary, and I had no business playing that, and I sounded horrible playing it unless she was playing it with me.
Right.
But she would play it too, and I thought she was a rock star. She was in a bluegrass band that played at the local farmers market on the weekends, and I thought she was a freaking rock star. But that was back in the day when like hay rides and Halloween were the funnest thing ever. So
Right.
and now they're actually still pretty fun. So.
They're actually pretty fun.
Hey, any other day of the year, like knocking on somebody's door demanding candy is practically criminal. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you buy candy to pass out to door knockers?
On Halloween I do. I
That
usually
was what I meant. It is almost
Yeah.
October. I just went to the store and literally bought the pumpkin-shaped Reese's.
Oh, I totally love those. I was about to tell you how much I love
But-
those.
These are like I totally thought it was the big ones, but this is like look at that, the size, so tiny.
Oh, the Easter ones are like twice the size of that. I mean, Halloween got
I-
gypped.
That was that was not what I was anticipating, because like the Kit Kats are regular size.
Yeah, there's just 2 of them instead of 4, right?
Yeah.
That's
But-
like rip off.
But I do think that the non-regular shaped Reese's have a better proportion of peanut butter to chocolate. So I think it'll
Now
still
you're
be fine.
talking. You and I are gonna get on great because the whole
Yes.
peanut butter chocolate thing.
Well,
Swear
so they
that's-
have a thing, apparently, I saw it today, Reese's Thins. I'm like, who wants a thin Reese's? Come on, even less peanut butter? Like, what is the world coming to?
Well, I don't know why they're thinking about making it thin. What they got to do is pile it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had one for Halloween that was like a Franken cup or something. It was like the top half is regular chocolate and the bottom half is like a green colored cream. And I guess the middle's still peanut butter. And they had a whole bag of that by itself, and I was like, that just seems like a risk I'm not willing to take this year. The bag
Yeah.
is $15.
Ah!
What if I don't like it,
Plus, what's that green shit? That's weird. Yeah.
It's cream, so like they have the Reese's that's in the white, whatever
Yeah.
it is, white chocolate or white whatever
Oh.
cream with peanut butter. They just
Yeah.
colored that cream thing green.
Do you remember in Soundcheck when we were talking about if it ain't broke, don't?
Fix it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what was broken about Reese's? Did we need green cream?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have the white cream Reese's or whatever, I guess you can color that green for Halloween.
Yes.
But also St. Patty's Day, that's the next thing. Do you think they'll have a Reese's shape? I don't know.
If they do, it needs to be bigger.
I agree. Have you seen anything larger, any Reese's larger than like a Reese's egg?
Well, the egg seems like it might be a similar size to, when you buy a regular Reese's and there's 2 cups in the package. It feels like the egg is about the same size as one of the cups, but it's just shaped differently, so it looks more like an egg. But I doubt it. I feel like over the last, more recent years, it got smaller. But it's not as small as the Halloween one that you
Everybody's
held
cutting
up.
corners these days. It's a shame. Crying shame.
What are we gonna do, huh?
I don't know.
Kids today.
There ought to be a solution here somewhere. I'll write sound off in the comments.
Okay,
The Reese's
everybody.
solution.
Yeah, let's get a petition going. You heard it here first.
I have another music question for you though. In
Sure.
all that you do with music, what part of making music or absorbing, listening, enjoying, what part brings you the most joy?
Ah,
From listening to performing to writing to teaching, any of it.
okay. In some ways, all of it, just because I really like to do this. But in some ways, it's when I realize I've gotten. You know that when you're writing a song and you don't really realize you're writing it yet, but you get this sort of kernel of like a lick or some little smidgen of a melody or a lyric that you kind of work out in your head, and suddenly you realize, hey, this is a song.
Yeah.
And it's not just some blip that you're experimenting with or noodling around with. It's actually, you're thinking to yourself, hey, this is a song, I need to get this down. I need to grab my, phone or however you record yourself
Yes.
and just get some of the notes down so I don't forget it. And then later I come back and elaborate on it. I like that moment when you realize I've got a new thing that is definitely worth working on. So
Yeah. That's a
I
good
like
feeling.
that. Yeah, and the other thing I really like is sharing something that I've written with other people to play together. I think that is the privilege.
Say that part again.
I like to share songs that I've written with a band. Like when we play something I wrote together, it feels like the nicest thing to share. It's like you don't have to say anything. We just share a song, and if I happen to be the writer of the song that we're all playing together, I feel like that's a very lucky position to be in,
Yeah, that's cool.
I like playing with other people a lot. It makes me feel humble and glad at the same time. I feel glad to have the experience to play with these people, and lucky and humble because sometimes I don't know what the hell that chord's called, but
Same.
I don't know. Those are my two, and I think those two moments are actually kind of tied. I think they're tied. But the thing about playing with other people is that it just always feels good to share something like that.
Yeah. Do you what's your favorite band to play with around town? Or like not favorite people, but like experience? Cuz it's making me think of like gospel brunch or like other scenarios like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, actually, when I put together a band, we haven't really had as many opportunities as I would like because we got together and then the pandemic hit. But
Bummer.
we had 3 gigs before the pandemic, and we had 1 gig together in August, which was like, I would say that's mid-pandemic because it was after the pre-Delta bubble, yeah.
Yeah.
But Scrappy and I have been playing together since about 2005 or 6, and I love to play with him. Yeah, he's just super fun playing with him feels like a conversation that I don't get nervous for.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
how
feel
about
like
you?
that should be a compliment. Yeah.
Oh, I love playing with him. If he needed a kidney, I'd have to stand in line to give him one of mine, but I know he could definitely have one. And he's a truly selfless player who
I met him at Folk Alliance.
he's a lovely person, wonderful player, and I love playing with him because he's so generous, and at the same time he takes command of a solo in a way that makes a song just really take life again,
That's awesome.
How about you? What's your what makes you feel? What's your spark of joy in the whole music process?
Probably when you know you're writing a good song and it feels good to write it, and even if it's hard to write, like it's hard to come up with the next picture, the next thing, you're digging deeper because you're like, I know it's worth it, I know it's worth it, I know it's gonna pay off. And then finishing it, like it's like catching that piece of gold from the sky. Like I don't know how to describe it, where you're like, no, now I gotta like plant it because it's gonna grow and it's gonna be a tree that bears gold. I don't know how to, that's a really weird picture, but like it's kind of supernatural and beautiful, and And then like the final, it's a whole cycle of things because it starts there with that spark of like, oh, I've hit on something good.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I gotta finish it. And then it's like, once you finish it, it's like, I gotta share it.
Yeah.
And then and then it's like, when I get to share it on stage, that's really amazing. And then like, the final piece is sometimes somebody comes up to you after a show and they say something specifically about that song. And it hits in that they can see that gold too that you saw
Yeah.
that first time. And that's really special.
The connecting with people, it sounds like when you connect with an audience member, that feeling is good. And when I like that feeling when I think I'm connecting with band people, fellow players, that music definitely connects people. And I'm sure there's tons of like hallmarky things that I could say about how music solves every problem, but it may not solve every problem, but it's certainly part of a solution.
It's a thing that, I mean, it's the language of heaven. And it is one of the reasons why I I believe in God. Like, it is so amazing, and the depth that it goes beyond culture, it goes beyond language, it goes in the same way that food does, but differently, because food doesn't necessarily, it can, but it doesn't always bring up the same kind of intense emotions that a song can, you know. But food can, like, you get a smell and you're like, ah, it smells like Thanksgiving or Christmas or a holiday,
Right.
or a particular birthday meal that your parents would make you, or something, or a cookie your grandma would make,
Right.
or like a restaurant you always went to when you were a kid. Like, there's a, in the same way that smells can like take you back in time, so can a song. It's so beautiful and amazing.
I agree. I think and I think it is a sure sign that, when you see like a fish with his beautiful scales, or you see a bird close up and you see the pattern on the feathers, or you see a hummingbird, and you can tell that when I see things like that, it makes me think, yeah, there must be a God. And I think music does the same thing, right? So
Yeah.
I totally agree with you there. And I think Hank Williams might have been the guy who said this, but he's, when it comes to songwriting, he said, "I hold the pen and God moves it." I'm pretty sure it was him who said that. I just love that
I love
line.
that.
Yeah, because it's just like so humble, and at the same time like true, and yeah, totally cool.
I'm writing that down.
It's pretty sure it was him, because I don't think it was Woody. So
All right, I'll look
but
it up.
I've been asking a bunch of people, because I think it's a pretty great line.
While we're here, I'm
Yeah.
going to share all of your links with everybody.
Yay, thank you.
Oh yeah, Brian, good reference.
Hey.
Okay. If you would like to find and follow Jenny on social media, please do. Drop in all the links, all the places you can find her.
Yay.
Find and support. You can listen live on Apple and Spotify. There's
Yay.
Bandcamp, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and her website.
Yay.
Well, I'm going to ask a couple of what I call pop questions. I'm just drawing them out of my board game here.
Sure.
Have you ever concealed a serious injury?
Yeah. Well, fairly recently. Let's see. I don't think I've really had a serious injury. Like, if you want to say serious, I don't think I've had a serious injury that I can concealed. But I felt self-conscious about one fairly recently. I used to have a handicap placard on my car for a family member, and I no longer need it. And I was gonna just get rid of it because I want to go to heaven someday. And this was the night before my second vaccine, so I totally remember this moment. And the night before, I took the day off of work to get my vaccine and go to the Department of Transportation to take care of my registration, right, get a new plate and all that. And the night before, I dropped a can of kidney beans on my foot, and like the big, huge, like economy size of kidney beans from a shelf
Wow.
on my on my flip flop foot.
Was it the dressy flip flops or the?
No, regretfully, it was like the summer weight, warm weather flip flops that have like. And so I had this like bad bruise. So the next day, I go to the Department of transportation to get rid of this handicap plate, and I'm limping. And I tell the lady, yeah, I want to get rid of it. And she saw me limp across the room, and she's like, are you sure? You know. But I tried to not limp because suddenly I realized like the idiocy of this. And if you've been to that building on Airport Boulevard, it's like you can't really hide anything there. You know, you're in a big open room. So, I haven't
Did
really
you end up keeping it, or did you?
No, I got rid of it. But it was surprisingly recent that bruise went away. But
Whoa!
I've been buying,
Wow.
I've been buying small cans of beans ever since. Yeah. Yeah. How about you? Have you ever concealed a injury?
Serious injury. Yes. Well, it wasn't mine. Well, okay, I probably have, but the one that comes to mind, I might have told it on the show before, but I got permission from my parents to bring my younger brother with me to my boyfriend at the time. We had a group of friends and we were all going to go camping at my boyfriend's parents' property or whatever. We were all going to go out in the middle of nowhere and camp over like New Year's, which also means all the guys were at fireworks because this is Texas. I mean, I guess it's everywhere, but and it was, I just remember it was really cold, and I knew a lot of those people from camp. I worked at this summer camp, and so summer camp employees know how to have fun. Like, you do weird, wild stuff. Not weird, just like immature, wild stuff. And I remember the guys all at one point were like shooting Roman candles at each other, you know?
Oh, God.
And I was like, this is not fun for me. So I like went and hung out in a different location. Well, one of them shot my brother in the face. Like, it just hit him in the mouth, like right here. And like pierced his lip. And I was like so furious that my friend was like, I convinced my parents to let me bring him, and like I'm responsible or whatever. And he was like old enough. Like, he was probably 7. He might have been 18. He was an adult. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was maybe babying him, but I was like, my parents are never gonna trust me to blah blah blah. And so when they immediately, like, he went inside and they like cleaned him up and like he put some ice on it and stuff, and like it was swollen and like bleeding, of course, and like it just looked bad. But I think we stayed a whole nother day, and by the time we went home, the swelling had gone down, and like it just was like this kind of gash that was healing over. Like, the blood was dried, so it looked like black.
Oh.
Anyways, so we just like didn't tell my parents, and we went inside and we were just like, we're not gonna mention it, like, just it'll be fine. And so we just kind of gave them a brief recap of the weekend. Yeah, it was really fun, blah blah blah. And we were done, and my dad was looking at my brother and he's like, I think you've got a little like chocolate right here. My brother was like, okay, thanks, Dad. I was like, I don't know why, in hindsight, I don't know why we were so like, it doesn't really make sense why I was so nervous about it. It would have been fine. I just like, I think I was really worried that my parents would not let us all hang out again or something if they knew that the guys like shot a Roman candle at him, which is pretty dumb, but
yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, we definitely didn't talk about that. Well, have you ever been in a bar fight?
A bar fight? No. Let's see. The closest I get to a bar fight would be wearing a Red Sox hat in Manhattan.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know, well, let's see. The other way would be, I went to Boston College and we drove out to South Bend when BC was playing Notre Dame, and we actually won. And so suddenly we were feeling really conspicuous wearing our Boston College sweatshirts at Notre Dame, you know. So it wasn't really a bar fight, but I noticed that the usher told us to turn our sweatshirts inside out, so we weren't quite so conspicuous. But no bar fights for me. But
Nice.
yeah. I went to Boston University for undergrad. Hey, Brian.
Nice.
I went to BC for grad school, but I went to BU for undergrad. It's a great place to go. Yeah.
Do you I also have not been in a bar fight, at least that I can remember. I don't even think I've witnessed one, which I'm okay with. So, taking that question a bit further, what is your favorite bar fight scene in a movie?
Hmm.
Or favorite movie that a bar fight takes place in?
Well,
I got mine.
go.
Shanghai Noon.
Oh,
Owen Wilson and Jackie Chan
oh
in
my
a
God.
Western.
Jackie Chan was awesome.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Ah, this isn't a physical fight, but there was, the Steve Martin movie where they redid Cyrano de Bergerac to be Roxanne,
Oh.
and he's in the bar and he gets into this verbal fight. He's the character with the really long, really huge nose. So he gets into the bar he's in a verbal fight with a whole bunch of people that give him shit for his nose, right?
Right.
And so totally spoofing on the original play, he has to come up with like 20 insults for a big nose. And so he wins the bar fight by coming up with 20 really good,
Insults for
Oh.
himself?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, David, you're absolutely right. Roadhouse has a good one. Yeah.
Oh, did I not? Where'd it go?
David Jimenez says, "Hey, David Jimenez. How are you, man?"
David!
Yeah.
That's
David's the
his
guy who
favorite.
clued me into this really fun guitar toy, the Milkman amp, which I totally love.
Okay.
Yeah, warning, hanging out with David means like spending money on guitar shit, but I really love that Milkman thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Noted. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to spend money, don't hang out with David.
Well, he oh my God, he told me about this Milkman pedal thing, and it's got this beautiful tremolo sounds for semi hollow that you can plug right into it and then run it through a board. You don't need an amp. You can
Okay.
use it as a pedal and just go right to a board, or you can run it through an amp, or you can run it through a speaker, and you get this beautiful, rich, lush. So if you're trying to travel light and you don't want to bring an amp, this thing is it's a pedal with tubes in it. It's like the size of a box of cigars. You can just bring that. It's really cool.
Dang. Okay.
Thanks, David.
David with all the tips.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Roadhouse, and let's see. There's got to be like more best bar fight. Well, there's a pretty good bar fight in Raiders of the Lost Ark, because the bar gets burned down.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Because
there's
she's
that,
out drinking everybody.
right,
And then they come for the medallion.
and that guy burns it onto his hand. That was a pretty
Yeah.
good one.
Ugh,
Yeah, that guy was creepy.
Yeah. All right. So we now know that David is bougie.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm happy to answer this question, so I'm not putting you on the spot, okay?
Okay.
I don't know if you have any tattoos, but if you would think of a lyric that you would consider tattooing on your body, what's the lyric and what's the body part? Excuse me.
A lyric. This is the hard one. I wouldn't. I don't know that I've heard a lyric good enough to put on my body permanently. Like, there haven't been any life-changing lyrics that I've heard, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I will say the lyric that I quote the most often, because it, I don't know, rings true in so many situations, is a David Ramirez lyric, the people call who they want to talk to.
Oh.
And but I often say it to me, I always say it in the negative sense. Like, I say it to myself when someone isn't responding.
Okay.
And I'm like, if they cared, they'd get back with you, Like, people make time for who they're going to make time for, So, Because I will expend so much energy on people that don't care, and they don't care about me. Clearly, it took me a really long time to identify the bad friends, and it was the people that like I'm the only one initiating coffee. I'm the only one initiating things, and if I did an experiment, if I stopped texting them, guess what? They don't text me. We don't talk. And I was like, that hurt so bad, and I realized, wow, I want to be friends with these people who don't care about me and don't want to be friends with me. And so that lyric kind of perfectly encapsulates this thing I've always struggled with, which is like, and it's why I'm such an invitation person. Like, I don't like going to parties if I am not clearly invited, because I don't ever want to be somewhere that I'm not wanted. And like, if I have an invitation though, like the only risk of giving me an invitation is that I might show up. So, like, you don't want me to show up, don't invite me, because I probably will actually show up. Yeah, so there's that lyric. People call who they want to talk to.
Oh, I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay.
Because that first one didn't totally work.
It's okay.
Yeah, let's see.
It was the first time anyone's asked me that.
I was trying to ask a unique question. Like, I didn't want to say something like, like, if you were an animal, what? Sorry. So I didn't want to ask that. But if I were to do the tattoo thing, there's a Lucinda lyric, Junebug versus Hurricane.
Oh,
and
nice.
I haven't the courage to do this because, to tell you the truth, I can't decide what socks to wear in the morning, so I'm probably not a tattoo person. But that's the closest. It's that line, which I would put on my forearm, like right here.
Would it be a symbol, like a Junebug and a hurricane?
Exactly. Instead of the text. I think the text would be the verses part, but like a little bug and verses and then the symbol for a hurricane. So if you see me with a big bandage on my forearm, you'll know that I did it. But between that. I love Lucinda. So, and I feel like the Junebug some days, and sometimes, Mary Chapin Carpenter, or sometimes I feel like the one on the windshield. But, there's... the other question I was going to ask you is, this year, Mattel introduced new Barbie dolls, right?
Yes.
And they created one of the people they created a doll for is one of the scientists who perfected the vaccine. And so nice. I was going to ask you, Natalie, if Mattel made a doll to honor you, what would your doll be wearing?
Oh, interesting. You got two questions nobody's asked me before. Also, I think Joanna chimed in with some lyrics.
Oh, cool. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the Mary Chapin tune. Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the... Oh, yeah, sometimes you're the bat. That's totally cool. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, Joanna, that's a good point. My Barbie would probably have a bandana, some kind of accessory. These days, probably some kind of boot, as opposed to like a high heel or a sandal, I think, or a tennis shoe. I think the boot would probably be a slightly heeled boot.
2-inch.
But what is 2-inch on a Barbie? Like.
Excellent point.
5 millimeters.
Excellent point.
Is that the next line, Joanna?
Oh, isn't that sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the... Oh, but are you spoofing on that? That's fun.
I don't know. If my life right now, if they made a Barbie and it whatever modeled me, I'd probably bandana, probably boots, specifically my black heeled boots with little silver studs around it, and either a bodysuit or jumpsuit, or like jeans and a plain tee with some kind of jacket. Like and that would be that's my uniform. Like this is a plain unlogoed t-shirt, short kind of fitted t-shirt.
Yeah. A
lot of high-waisted jeans, a lot of jumpsuits, a lot of jackets.
It's hard to find plain t-shirts if you just don't want a logo on them. I'm kind of always looking for those t-shirts that and I used to get so much shit for wearing t-shirt and jeans to my gigs, but I like to play in them, and yeah, I used to get.
I mean, like, Was it just a t-shirt and jeans, or did you like add like a thing,
No.
a necklace or like a jacket? Nothing.
Oh, I would wear dangly earrings and, usually had a necklace. I pretty much
Did
wear.
your t-shirt have logos or was it plain?
No, it's totally plain. But I would wear like pigment dyed ones so they look like Saturday t-shirts, like really comfy t-shirts and girl t-shirts because I can't stand the whole unisex thing with t-shirts. I like the baby doll kind of ones. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, one of my favorites is Betty Sue has a couple really nice t-shirts, and I have another favorite from a barbecue place in Maine. That's
Joanna's gonna disagree with you. She thinks all t-shirts should have band logos on them.
Well, she is an aficionado of the band T-shirt. Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
Kenna's saying my Barbie should be holding a lightsaber in a music award,
That's great.
which is hilarious. That would be my weekend.
Yeah.
Holding a. Yeah, I like Star Wars.
I had a RBG T-shirt that I wore to a gig, but it had a very unfortunate laundry incident. So
no.
I need to get another one, I think. But yeah.
Well, let me ask us both one more question, and then let's play
Yeah.
a couple songs.
Sure.
Have you ever been a terrible roommate?
Ah,
I like that question.
that is a good one. I don't think I've been a terrible roommate. Nobody said I was a terrible roommate, but that doesn't mean I wasn't a terrible roommate. Because if we were just terrible together, then I don't know. I drank a lot in college, so I think I was probably not a great roommate then.
Yeah.
I think my sister would tell you that I'm a terrible sibling.
Your sister?
Yeah, we were never roommates. We lived in the same house because we were siblings. So I wonder if she would say I'm like a terrible roommate.
How many years between you?
3. I mean, in terms of us getting along.
That's enough for her to think you're annoying.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the first one out of the house
sister,
is
4
always.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you're the same size, and so the first one out of the house is always the best dressed. So I could see our roommate getting annoyed by that, but I don't know. I think I probably manipulated Elise in my favor once, but I think that's probably the snarkiest thing I've done as a roommate. That's pretty snarky.
I think I've always been one of the better roommates in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm the one that like takes care of the pot. Pot and pan.
Yeah, how did you mean that? Yeah.
What was that? And but my roommates are the ones that are like setting fire to my dish rags or whatever, or like leaving all the dishes in the sink. Like I felt like, because I grew up in a big family, like I had to always be really like responsible. Like I had chores and I had to like do stuff, and so it's like a lot of roommates I had in college is like they'd never done anything responsible for it. You know, like you have like a Teflon pot, you're not supposed to use like metal in it.
Right.
And like I know how to take care of that pot. Like, don't use a fork in it, and like,
yeah,
whatever.
Then there's people
not
like,
bitter. Still not bitter about it.
Oh, I know. But then there's those people that use metal spatulas on a Teflon frying pan, and it's like makes me cringe every time.
There's always something I say that's like has a completely different meaning than what I intended. But yeah, I've never done anything remotely interesting. Substance-wise, so it's even more hilarious. I would say that. I think my friend, do you know Chris? Actually, never mind. I said a name. I can't tell the story. If I'd remained nameless, it could have been funny. So, okay, you ready for songs?
Sure.
Cool. What are you gonna play?
I don't know yet. The first thing I'm gonna do is I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a nerd. So I have lights in my house that are about to turn off, so I'm gonna make sure they don't turn off. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Because that would have been awkward, but I am a total nerd, so
Hey, that's okay.
I like being a nerd. I feel like we get things done efficiently, which is probably not fun at parties. I used to brag that I could tune a guitar with a dial tone, and I learned that that's not really the most. That's not the
Can
most
you really
fun.
though?
Yeah, it's not the most fun party trick. I can't. Yeah. Oh, there's my dog. You can sort of see my dog. Yeah.
Hi, dog.
Yeah. Her name is Oakley. She's under
Hi,
the
Oakley.
piano. Yeah, Oakley is Annie Oakley because she's kind of a pistol.
Nice.
Well, I first have to say how lovely it is to hang with you, and I already want to have coffee, and I want you to know that when I invite you to a party or when I invite you to coffee, that you will know, in fact, conclusively and definitively that you have been invited for
Oh,
coffee.
awesome.
Yay!
Yay.
Yay! Yeah, let's play some tunes. I mean, I don't know. I liked playing in tall buildings for you, but I probably don't know all of that.
I was hoping you'd play one of yours.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
And do you want the screen to yourself, or you want me to hang out with you on the screen? I forgot.
Whatever is your preference. If you want to tune, if you want to blow your nose or pet your cat or dog, whatever you like to do.
I mean, I'll just mute myself so I can tune, but
Okay.
yeah.
I think I will play. This is kind of a. We were talking about songwriting before, and this one, I wrote it in a bathroom. I used to live I rented a house, a really huge bathroom. Like, I actually had apartments in Boston that were smaller than this bathroom was, so.
I've been in that bathroom. My Airbnb this week. I was like, man, I could put a bed in here. This bathroom is huge.
I used to practice in there, and like if anybody went into that bathroom and they saw a music stand and a guitar in there, they probably thought the weirdest things. But it was the nicest place to play because of that sound, you get in the bathroom. And James Taylor wrote his song Mexico in a bathroom. So
maybe I should write more songs in bathrooms.
It sounds good. It makes you feel like, it feels good to play. I actually wrote most of this in a bathroom, like the melody, and it was about something not very good, and then I played some airport gigs, and the lyrics actually came to me from people watching at the airport.
Okay.
I am in an airport, sitting all alone, watching other stories and inventing some
Is that called This Is How We Say Goodbye?
The Way We Say Goodbye,
The Way
yeah.
We Say Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the lyrics are on my website, but I can't remember if I took them down or not. Yeah.
Cool. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
read it in the comments.
Well, thank you. Andre Moran does a really nice solo on that tune on the record that came out a little over a year ago.
So much love for this song.
It's a little bit hard to finish, but it was a good. And then I kind of had to, there are some songs that you have to like talk yourself into. Do you ever notice there are some songs that you get emotional over, and you kind of have to talk yourself into? Like, I know I've written a really honest song when it makes me cry when I write it. And then I think, well, I can't possibly play this out anywhere. Who the hell is going to want to listen to me? Oh my God, she's so awesome. She'll make you cry. No wonder people are like going to my gigs and breaking up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, no, seriously, that totally happened.
I feel like that has to be a t-shirt.
Oh, good.
There's a t-shirt somewhere in there,
Go ahead and do that.
No, that'd be a funny t-shirt.
We could write that song too. It'd be like, it's not you, it's me, or something like.
It's not your fault. It's a Jenny Reynolds concert or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Something fun like that. But
there's something somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah. What you gonna play for us?
Something off the new album.
Yay.
I'll play I Couldn't See.
Yay.
And I just realized I think we changed the bridge in the studio, and I don't remember off the top of my head, so I'm just going to play it the way I wrote it.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, okay. I Couldn't See. We took a plane that summer to Seattle. We were 4 months in. Said I loved him, no, I didn't like when we were kissing. I started growing my hair out. He said he liked it long. Mondays at the Red Eye Fly, playing to an empty bar. He was in the corner waiting there to get my stuff into the car. Thought it sweet, I couldn't see there was something deeper going on. He's telling me that I'm the one. There was a night we sat in darkness in my car, and I confessed, thought him safe because of faith, but was condemned and feeling stressed. He took me to a field, tried to pray it out of me in tongues. He's telling me that I'm the one. I couldn't see what I'd become. Bit by bit I lost myself in his dream, and somehow I still feared he was my last opportunity. He's telling me that I'm the one. I couldn't see what I'd think about him late at night, how he was the worst thing and the best thing at the same damn time, and why the hell it took so long to find the will to run.
I love the line about how he likes your hair long.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it sets you up as somebody who wants to please another person.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and that's a nice detail. You know how you're supposed to show and not tell.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful song. You got some nice phrasing happening too. That's great.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
When's your next gig?
Next gig?
Yeah.
Like in person?
Or have you got another? Are you doing a show next week or when? You know, there's
Well, actually, what is today? Monday. I do actually have an in-person show on Wednesday.
Excellent.
At the Hot Spot. I'm opening for American Dreamer.
Hey, yay!
And as of this moment, I will be there solo. I might pull someone up to be a duo with me.
Good.
It was uncertain that I was going to do this gig, but it's been settled, so I'm in on Wednesday. So it'll be a lot of fun. I love Hot Spot. It's great.
Yeah, I played there with Graham Weber like a month ago, and
yeah. He has a great residency.
Yeah, and he
couldn't think of the word.
We really had a nice night. It was just a beautiful spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And they really take care of the artists there too, so that's really cool.
Wonderful people. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Airstream as green room is uniquely awesome too. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, is he not doing it right now?
Oh.
Guess he's taking a short break. I thought he was doing it tomorrow night though. I thought I saw him. Oh, maybe I didn't see. I was looking at it earlier this month.
Well, maybe he's coming back at some point. I'm sure he'll come back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's my next in-person. I had another gig. It got canceled due to the COVID. That's fine. And then I think the next thing I'm looking forward to is the Dripping Springs Songwriter Festival.
Excellent.
And that'll be October 14th through 16th. What about for you? You got another show?
I'm going to do the Hyatt Regency Rhythms, the Regency Rhythms thing.
Yeah.
And Scrappy is going to join me on Friday.
Cool.
And I think we're playing again together at Captain Quackenbush's on the 14th.
I still have not been there yet.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful room. It's very turquoise, so don't wear green or else.
Bring my shades.
I would wear black because that matches turquoise, and you'll just kind of pop out there. But if you wear red or black, you're good. But if you wear anything green, the sound is really good there. And I'm actually going to be there with Barbara and Wendy at the end of the month too, so that'll be fun. They moved the sound console, and I think they might have augmented the sound a little bit, but I don't think they had to do a lot there. So if any augmentation they did to the sound system was probably just because they might have changed the shape of the room a little.
Cool.
But I think it's a great room. Yeah.
Yeah, I literally haven't been there since it was the previous establishment that everyone talks about and longs for.
Oh, Strange Fruit. Yeah. I think these guys are really they're doing an incredible job. And frankly they need our support. So when the virus lets people feel more comfortable, when you feel comfortable, go to Captain Quackenbush's because they weren't open too long and then they got broken into, which was just ridiculous. These people are trying to help our music community, and we need to help them back. So when it's ready, when y'all feel ready to go, because the sound is good, they're booking good artists, and it's going to be great to hear Natalie Price there soon.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you like how I stuck that in there? Yeah.
Nice. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So I think those are my. I don't know. I'm doing a Bugle Boy live stream with Scrappy on the 8th, and I think that's my October. I'm kind of bopping around in October, but
okay.
Let's bop. Bop.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bopping in with me today and
you
being
for
my
having me.
guest. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for playing a song, answering all the questions, asking some really great questions.
Sure.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. I will post your links once more, and we
Yay.
will sign out today. Thank you,
Yay.
everyone, for tuning in. It was great to see your virtual names.
Yay. Safe travels, Kent.
Yeah, travel safely. See you back in Austin soon.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, everybody.
yeah, everybody have a great night.
Yeah.